Hello and welcome to my review of the Dark Angels Legion Deathwing Companions. One of these sets of five Space Marines will cost you £75. Oh, and they're temporarily out of stock. I first picked these up about a year and a half ago or so, July of 2022, and as I'm going through Dark Angels over the next couple of weeks, I thought I'd give you a review finally. So thank you for waiting. The format of this review is as usual. We'll have a look at each one of these Deathwing Companions individually. I won't go through any of the spare parts because there aren't any, and then I will go through, and then I'll give you some size comparisons, and at the end I'll go through all of their unique rules for the Horus Heresy. So first things first, let's look at them one after the other. So we'll start off with this one, just in any kind of order. So we've got this companion. There's lots of detail on these Space Marines, and they're awesome looking. The sizes are pretty good too. I'll give you some size comparisons later on. But this one has got the plasma pistol with a scope on it. Classic Dark Angels there, and a nice ornate power fist there, with a skull and two swords. You've got a nice cloak. Yeah, the power plant is quite cool. So what's interesting about these Deathwing Companions is they are all kind of in Mark IV armour. The shoulder pauldrons themselves are definitely Mark III, but the actual shape of the chest plate, the leg armour and the power plants are all Mark IV. So yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash. I'd like to call these kind of like bespoke artificer kind of armour. But yeah, that's what you're looking at. I'm not sure whether you like these feathers. I mean, they're very kind of World Eaters-esque, aren't they, in a way? These big helmet motifs. I'd like to know the weight that these add. I mean, yeah, I can sometimes tell I'm wearing a GoPro on top of my helmet, let alone these bad boys. And also, you're going to stick out a fair bit, aren't you? But yeah. Anyway, that being said, you know, I can just imagine one of these guys sort of crouching behind a. Well, they do take cover, don't they? Of course they do. But you know what I mean? Like, if they're crouching behind some kind of cover, and then, you know, there's just this part of his helmet sticking up off the top. But anyway, I have to find the comedy value in that. But yeah, this guy's got power fist, got the plasma pistol with a scope. This one has ditched the plasma, maybe spent all the ammunition, but he's just rocking a sickle magazine bolt gun there. Very cool, very old school. And he's just posing with this blade. You know, he's just got the blade like it is. He hasn't mag-locked it or anything. He's got a cheeky little pistol there. Maybe that is a plasma pistol. You got something on the shoulder pauldron, some kind of shield and crosses. Lots of detail on these. They're fantastic. The feathers are lovely. Lots of 3D detailing. You can really, you know, you can see the little I say veins and chips and things in those feathers, and look at all the detail in there with the skulls. Absolutely incredible. So that's that guy, and then we've got this one with the shield, which could proxy a Praetor. There's two of them here that could proxy the short Praetor that I reviewed a little while ago. But this shield, very nice. You've got this kind of generator type thing bolted on. Again, the head ornament looks awesome. The blade is very similar to the blade that the other one was wielding. You've got the standard Mark IV power plant. All the power plants are the same on these, I think. They're very similar, quite bland really, the power plants, nothing amazing to them. Yeah, and then this one, he's rocking the helmet ornament again, and you've got lots of detail. I like this sword though. This sword is like is that a Tyrannic greatsword? It must be. It's huge. It's like a double wielder. Yeah, it's like a Tyrannic greatsword. It's amazing. I really like these sort of double-handed swords. I think all the Terminators have the double-handed swords, but yeah, nice cool looking model, a little bit of a tactical rock going on there. And then finally, this one that could definitely proxy as a Praetor. I really like this pose. It's got the shield there blocking all of them except for his head, and he's going to stab with that sword down at something. Not sure about the angle of that leg there, that foot, but still very cool pose. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, that's all of them. Each one is great. I love the poses of all of them. Sometimes you'll get, like, in a set of these, you'll get one or two that are a bit odd, bit funky, but because they're, I say mono pose, because you can only put them in like one pose, each one is a character. Games Workshop, Forge World have designed them to look like this, so that, you know, you're not going to mess up their poses, I don't think. But yeah, they're absolutely lovely. So now what I'll do is I'll just show them compared to some other Dark Angels minis. First of all, I want to, you know, compare them to the Praetor that I was banging on about all through that narrative. Yeah, so as you can see, you could proxy one of these as the Praetor, no issues there. They are actually probably a little bit taller than him too. So yeah, I think they messed up the scale probably on this one. But yeah, so that's them compared to a Praetor. Compared to the Inner Circle, this is one of the big boys in the Terminator armour. Yeah, they are a fair bit bigger, a bit more menacing, and have got even more detail, even more of the Dark Angels iconography. Compared to probably Corswain, I don't know whether you could proxy Corswain as one of these, most probably, because again he's got this Tyrannic Greatsword thing, and he's sort of similar height, and he's taller than them all, but you could have him leading them. Again, probably no reason for you to pick up 2 units of these. I mean, 150 quid for 10 Space Marines is quite a lot. And then you've got Marduk Cerus, I think it is. So yeah, there's Marduk. He is a fair bit bigger than all those, probably one of the tallest out of the Dark Angels range. And then, just because, here's an Interemptor. So if you wanted to see how big the Interemptors were, they're very similar height actually, but obviously the Interemptors have this Mark III armour going on. And the last few size comparisons I'd like to make just with some other Horus Heresy minis. First of all, so we've got the Mark III, similar. Mark IV, they're a fair bit bigger than the Mark IV, even though they're wearing Mark IV. The Mark VIs, they hold their own very well with the Mark VIs, very similar in height to them. They're not going to look small next to them at all. They'll work with your other Mark VIs. I mean, if you're you know, fancied making your own Mark VI Interemptors like I have right here, then they're going to go very well with those. It's a little bit of a... So I think I've reviewed these before, made my own Interemptors, but yeah, similar height, even with the new Mark IIIs. I think the new Mark III, I think he's a little bit shorter, just a little bit. But yeah, if you're rocking the new minis, the new Mark VIs, the 3s, these are going to hold up very well. They're very similar height. They are in slightly different poses though and things, but yeah, they're going to work well. And then compared to 40k, we've got a Slime Marbo, a Standard Space Marine, and a Primaris. I have to just give you this one. So yeah, they are a bit taller. Slime Marbo is up to the chest, and then Primaris is definitely head and shoulders above, almost a full head taller. Even with this one erect, just a little, that's half a head taller. So yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend having these near Primaris if you can avoid it. I'm very interested to see how these measure up with the new Deathwing when they're released. I will try and pick those up, so stay tuned to the channel for a comparison. I'll keep these Dark Angels nearby so that I can review those in future. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Dark Angels Legion Deathwing companions. You will find them in your Liber Astartes Loyalist Legiones Astartes army book under the Dark Angels section, which of course, being the first Legion, they are at the very, very front, and they do count as an HQ choice for your Dark Angels force. Quite a lot of rules for them, so we'll go through it. First of all, their points cost. They will cost you 150 points. You have a Deathwing Oathbearer and 4 Deathwing companions. So the Oathbearer is a movement of 7 inches, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 9 and a save of 2+. All of the other 4 Deathwing companions have the same stat line, but they have 1 fewer attacks, so they have 2 attacks, and they have a worse leadership at 8. Their war gear, they're all equipped with a Calibanite warblade, a bolter, a bolt pistol, artificer armor, frag grenades, crack grenades, refractor field. That's for the Deathwing Oathbearer only. He has that refractor field. Special rules: Legiones Astartes, Deathsworn Companions, Chosen Warriors, Relentless, Deathwing Retinue. Dedicated transport, so you can give them a dedicated transport. The companion detachment may take a Legion Rhino transport or Land Raider Proteus carrier as a dedicated transport. As a dedicated transport, this unit does not use up an additional force organisation slot, but its points cost must be paid for as part of the army. So you can get a Land Raider there as part of the detachment. The Deathwing Companion detachment may take up to 5 additional Deathwing Companions at 25 points each. I mean, they're quite a pricey unit anyway at 150. To get another 5 of them, that's obviously going to run you at almost 300 points. You know, plus your character, plus your Land Raider. Yeah, you're not going to get much change from 1,000 at the end of the day, are you, if you're going to run like some kind of Death Star unit. Any model with a bolter may take a bayonet for 1 point or a chain bayonet for 2 points. All models in the Deathwing Companion detachment may take melter bombs, 25 points per unit. That's quite a good thing to get. That's quite a good option to take, I think. Any model in the unit may exchange its Calibanite Warblade for one of the following: Power Fist for 5 points or Tyrannic Greatsword for 5 points each. Any model in the unit may exchange its bolter for one of the following: a Magna Combi weapon for 10 points, a Minor Combi weapon for 5, Plasma Pistol for 10, Cytherion Pattern Aegis for 10 points, and 1 companion may take a Legion Vexilla for 10 points. If the model for which the Deathwing Companion detachment has been selected as part of the Deathwing Retinue Special Rule has a Legion Warhawk jump pack, then the Deathwing Companion detachment must select the same upgrade, paying the same cost, 10 points each. So I'll just talk about their war gear first of all. Their Calibanite Warblade is a Strength +1, so that bumps them up to Strength 5, AP 3, Melee, Rending 6+, and also you can exchange those Calibanite Warblades for a Tyrannic Greatsword, which is Strength +2, which bumps it up to 6, AP 3, but then they're two-handed, Rending 5+, and Murderous Strike for 5+. So you can give them all Tyrannic Greatswords if you really must. Their special rules: Deathwing Retinue. A Deathwing Companion detachment may only be selected as part of a detachment that includes at least 1 model with both the Master of the Legion and Legiones Astartes Dark Angel special rules. A unit selected in this manner is considered a retinue squad, and the model with both the Master of the Legion and Legiones Astartes special rules is referred to as a retinue squad's leader for the purposes of this special rule. The retinue squad does not use up a force organisation slot and is considered part of the same unit as the model selected as its leader. So that's pretty cool. And it goes on to say a Deathwing Companion detachment may not be selected as part of an army without a leader, so you need to attach them with a leader. A bit like with Lionel Johnson's retinue that's coming out. Cytherion Pattern Aegis. So you may take one of these instead of their bolter. A Cytherian pattern Aegis, which I think is that shield that they've got. It can be used in one of two ways. It can either provide the bearer with a 4+ invulnerable save against shooting attacks and a 5+ invulnerable save against melee attacks, or it can be deployed. So, pretty good so far, you know. They've got 2 wounds each. They've got invulnerable, 4+ against shooting, 5+ against melee. They've got their, you know, Calibanite Warblades or their Tyrannic Greatswords, but now they can also deploy these shields. The controlling player may choose to deploy the Cytheron pattern Aegis at the end of their own movement phases. As long as at least 2 models in the unit are equipped with them, all models in the unit have a Cytherian pattern Aegis must deploy them to gain any benefit. While deployed, the entire unit gets a 4+ invulnerable save against shooting attacks and a 5+ invulnerable save against melee attacks. And the enemy models engaged with a model from the Deathwing Companions detachment in assault have their initiative reduced by -1. However, while deployed, the models equipped with the Cytherian pattern Aegis may not make attacks in any phase or as part of any reaction. It goes on to say, if the number of Aegis equipped models in the unit drops below 2, the effect immediately ends. So it might be worth deploying that, giving all of the companions that buff, that 4+ invulnerable, those invulnerable saves. And then their final rule, Deathsworn Companions. Any unit that includes at least 1 model with this special rule ignores the effects of precision strikes, precision shots, and sniper special rules. And casualties from shooting attacks and melee attacks are always allocated to a model of the controlling player's choice. It's pretty nice. So you can pick which ones you basically want to die. So, you know, they are Deathsworn Companions at the end of the day. I think they're very, very cool. You know, you can attach them to Master of the Legion and Legion Astartes characters. They're gonna buff that character massively with everything that they bring, not only with those invulnerable saves, but also their Warblades. They're running a bit low on attacks, I guess. You know, you've got 11 attacks there, but 11 attacks at strength 5 AP 3 is pretty nice. Yeah, they've got some bolters and plasma pistols and things in there as well. But put these in a Land Raider Proteus with your Praetor or with Marduk or Corswain, and you are good to go. What do you guys think of the Deathwing Companion detachment? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.